So really the process, I believe, for success today for most of us is number one, getting clear on what we want, getting clear and just getting excited, be able to be excited for our compelling future with our family, our relationships, our health, our body, our contribution, our business. And then from there, being able to, create a plan, but also more importantly, be able to have the belief system and the mindset to make it happen. But it all really goes back to, which is so not talked to today, and Mike knows this work, is how to be able to be in what we call the right emotional state. Because what happens for most people today, and you can all feel it out there. I know you guys are doing very well in your business and very well in your life, as fathers and producers and, great coaches as well. But we can feel the energy out there in the world today. It's scary because the suicide rate's the highest it's ever been. The drug use, the job loss is crazy. We can feel the energy. But the one thing we can control right now and for the end of the time is how we feel.
Welcome back, everybody, to today's episode. Today, you are in for a treat with one of our member spotlight episodes. And this one is with Scott Goss. Scott is one of 5 national speakers with the Tony Robbins Company. And so he has had a direct influence on helping Tony grow his brand. And he's somebody who's been on that wild ride. So it's really cool to talk to him about that topic. He also has had the privilege of serving in the United States Air Force, and he speaks internationally throughout Asia and in different places like that. In general, he just has this amazing passion to inspire others to become the best version of themselves. We get into his business tips. We get into his expertise around speaking and all sorts of things. But Mike, what stood out for you from this conversation?
Well, he brings in a couple of Tony philosophies and principles with peak performance. And I think that's tactical that you could take away from this. So it's a great refresher if you're a follower of Tony Robbins. And if you haven't followed Tony's principles, then I think this would be really a sticky notes for you. Scott's been a friend of mine for about a decade now, and I really just enjoy his journey of going from having a speech impediment and not being able to really speak at all or biting his tongue to being a professional speaker to speaking to probably somewhere in the hundreds of thousands of individuals that he spoke around the world, maybe more. So it's going to be a great, inspiring episode with some tactical, practical tools from Mr. Scott Goss. So get ready for another episode and member spotlight of the Better Than Rich Show. Here we go.
Welcome back, Better Than Rich Show listener. Today, you are in for a treat. We're doing something a little different with our member spotlight. And today we have Mr. Scott Goss on the podcast. Scott, how are you today?
I'm doing awesome. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. And of course, I got
Excited
my co-host Mike Abramowitz here with me. Mike, how are you?
Feeling great. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Scott's a freaking beast. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm aware. I mean, some of this stuff that you can talk about. I mean, being Tony Robbins' top person and all the journey that you've been through. Speaking in Asia and peak performance mindset. I can't wait to dig into some of this stuff. But this being a member spotlight episode, I'm curious, how did you? I know the story a little bit, but how did you get connected with us? How do you know Mike, and how did you get connected to the community?
Well, we all have me and Mike have a guru we like to follow and like to be able to learn from, Mr. Tony Robbins. So probably over a decade ago, I was doing my travels, speaking in front of groups, and Mike ran one of the top Cutco companies here in the United States, out here at Tampa, Florida, and he was very gracious enough to let me come train his team. So we actually connected through Cutco and also Tony Robbins trainings.
Well, I'll tell you right awesome. Now, and for the listener, I don't know, you'll have to fill us in, Scott, if you're still doing those trainings, but our team, I've probably had, probably 36 college kids sign up to go to a Tony event because of your influence and impact. And then from there, your friendship invited me to the gym to work out with you. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's freaking shredded. He's so strong. I felt he's like doing these Arnold things with dumbbells. That was the first time I was like, dude, I cannot keep up with this guy. 6 a.m. He's like, yeah, you want to work out? I was like, yeah, 6 a.m. sounds good. Jesus. And you've been an awesome friend. But the listener might not know, like, what is your story? Why don't you, tell us a little bit about you, your story? I know you served the country for a stint. You got into real estate. There was a stint there, but like, why don't you just walk us through, like, tell us a little bit about you, your experiences through life. I know it's a great story and people will really find it stimulating.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, it's really all about really, what you guys are up to, what I'm up to is really helping people be able to become better through personal coaching, personal development, and being able to work in transformational work. So I'm originally from the state of Maryland, from very, very, very small town, Maryland. The whole joke used to be, it's so small town, there's no Starbucks. But 3 years ago, there's one Starbucks in a very small town in Maryland. And what happened was, like most of us, I don't know about most of us out there, but I had a rough childhood. I had a speech impediment when I was in first grade, and I got labeled first grade, second grade, third grade. I got labeled as somebody who just says words different and has a speech impediment. And it didn't help with the school system. They put me in this special needs class after school in this weird classroom. In my mind, as a little kid, I associated speech impediment, something wrong, speech impediment, something wrong with me. And as we know, when you have a certain belief, life usually fulfills the belief. So what happened was I going through, minding my business in elementary school, middle school, and just got picked on. There was a group of kids group of guys that I think they may be in jail now. I don't know, but a group of guys that always picked on me, and just because I said words funny. And then one moment when I was 16 years old, I had a revelation. It was a belief system I created. And I don't think it was a good belief system, but the belief system was, how can I be around people and be able to be not made fun of and be safe? And when I was a young kid, I created a belief system and it held me down. And the belief system was, when I'm around a lot of people, I will keep my mouth shut. Therefore, no one could be able to make fun of me. So what happened was, most of my young 20s and also teenage years, I was hiding. I was kind of hiding out, trying to be able to just be safe. And even when I got out of high school, I went to the United States military, was there for a bit, and always opportunity to step up. Always opportunity to be able to step up and be a leader in the military, but I always was very passive and very shy because these silly beliefs. And what happened to me personally, I got out of the military and I was working in the real estate industry, and I was really struggling mentally, struggling financially. 50 pounds heavier was not a good look. So what happened for me, my first really introduction to coaching and transformational work was when a speaker came out from Tony Robbins to my office 18 years ago, Mike. 18 years ago. Guy came, it was a Friday afternoon, living in Tampa, Florida. And if you've ever been to Florida, people at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, people are not thinking about work. They're thinking about beach, right? Sunshine, barbecue, happy hour. So we had a trainer coming in one Friday at 3 o'clock. The guy shows up 45 minutes late. Everybody's falling asleep. But for me personally, I was just really engaged. It was like a higher calling. Like, he talked to me at a high level. I was the only person in the room to actually take a step and bet on myself to go see Tony Robbins in Orlando, when I had the whole intention of getting my money back. But for me personally, that was like the greatest breakthrough probably to this point of me being able to open my eyes and be able to expand my awareness and get clear on, what I can do in my life. Because for many years, most of us were programmed to be able to have a certain way of thinking and be able to follow a certain set of rules, a certain set of beliefs. And most of the stuff we learn are very limited. So I got lucky. I don't know if it's fate. It's funny because when I was searching, before I even found that opportunity to go see Tony Robbins, I was searching for just something. I was searching because I was hanging out with the wrong people, doing the wrong things, have the wrong thinking. And I was just searching, and I found this book, kind of ironic, about 3 years before I actually really got introduced to Tony Robbins at the library. And it was like on sale for like $1. And it was Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. And within it, Mike, there was actually a business card from like the 90s, it looked like, a business card of a representative from Tony Robbins. I found the book with a card even before I got introduced to the event, which I went to, which changed my life. And then from that experience, I had an opportunity to build a relationship with the trainer who sold me my first ticket, and we became friends. And then eventually I got into the company through being around the right people, getting the right referrals, putting in the work, and also doing some cool stuff. So that was my introduction to really, for me personally, to not only be able to transform my life, but also be able to be in a position where I can be able to do the same. And I do these trainings all the time where I was in the seat watching the trainer, but now I'm the trainer being able to help other people take the next step and get closer to what they want. So it's pretty ironic how life turns around.
Well, it's truly amazing story. I mean, going from speech impediment to becoming a speaker. I mean, it's like literally the hero's journey. Not many people get a chance to interact with the big guy as much as you have. You know, I'm a 7-time firewalker. You and I, obviously, we have the 2mm Club, and you have done some amazing things with that experience of working with Tony and working with Tony Robbins companies. I mean, what is there? 5 national speakers, and you're one of them. I mean, you've been around the world. You've seen and experienced some of the most amazing people at some of these events, I'm sure. Can you kind of take us behind the curtain of some of those life experiences of, I don't know, what is that like? Is it sound as cool as it is? Or you're like, actually, Mike, it's kind of like a lot of fucking work, or maybe it's not as cool as it's. But in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, you're like you're the Sherpa for hundreds of thousands of humans that are trying to be better over the course of a decade and a half. So peel back the curtain a little bit for us.
Well, I mean, yeah, it does. I mean, it's like anything. There's the great opportunities, and there's also the challenges, like anything in life. But I mean, really great. So what I did, I'll sum it up for everybody. I know. So I have an opportunity to really be able to go into organizations, real estate, mortgage, entrepreneurs, financial services, network marketers, you name it, mostly commission-based or entrepreneur groups, and then speak for an hour. And we teach Tony Robbins principles and strategies. And I've been doing it for a while, so I have free reign to pretty much say whatever I want to say. But the outcome is to really be able to move people to action. So the outcome for what we do is we do almost like a one-call close. We're in front of a group of people speaking and training, and we have that 1 hour to be able to take people from, oh, I'm not sure who Tony Robbins is, to pulling out a credit card, making a decision, committing 4 days of their life, and taking action right now. So it's an interesting skill set you have to be able to build. But however, the great thing about it is there's people that really need this work and looking for transformation and also change in their life today, probably more than ever before. So, I mean, pull back the curtain. It's amazing opportunity. We go in early, we stay late. Speaking has taken me to 22 countries around the world. I went to Asia in 2019, knew one person, had zero opportunity. And just through being able to leverage Tony Robbins, leverage my name, leverage my experience, and kind of getting out there and getting in front of people and just speaking for free sometimes to be able to build up those relationships and create a business and create opportunities everywhere. So, really, if you're in the speaking world or you want to learn, you got to put in the dirty hours, right, of the free work to be able to get that result. So we're very blessed. I'm very lucky to do what I do, and very lucky to be able to, like you said, Mike, to be able to help with other people.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Incredible story. As Mike highlighted, kind of going from this individual story filled with pain to transformation and now giving, right, on the back end of that and making an impact. I think that's really beautiful. I'm curious, when you think about your expertise, what do you think you're an expert in, and what do you bring to the table? What do you love to talk about? Is it managing emotions, getting unstuck in your life? Maybe even a few tips for people on public speaking, because you've probably spoken more than more than most people. You're a top 1% or top 0.1% speaker, I'm sure. So what are some of the tips that you have for people in life and things that you feel like you love to talk about and teach?
So definitely mindset, which is huge, but there's mindset experts everywhere, how to really kind of be able to identify patterns, identify behaviors. Most people out there, what they do is they think they're bad if they don't have what they want, if they don't have the relationship they want to buy, they shame themselves. And so they have bad patterns, they have bad behaviors, right? So kind of help people recognize their patterns or behaviors. What do we do unconsciously that may be serving us? What may be holding us back? But what I really love, Andrew, right now, which is so important, is really being able to help two things, really, people. Help get people more excited for life. Because as we see in 2023, people are not excited. People are not engaged. I'm doing workshops for organizations who have 200, 300 people in the organization. There's 20 people showing up for the meeting. And what a lot of people today is they're not very engaged or not very really into their life. And the reason why, Tony Robbins says this, they don't have what we call a compelling future. They're not excited for what they're doing. So really the process, I believe, for success today for most of us is number one, getting clear on what we want, getting clear and just getting excited, be able to be excited for our compelling future with our family, our relationships, our health, our body, our contribution, our business. And then from there, being able to, create a plan, but also more importantly, be able to have the belief system and the mindset to make it happen. But it all really goes back to, which is so not talked to today, and Mike knows this work, is how to be able to be in what we call the right emotional state. Because what happens for most people today, and you can all feel it out there. I know you guys are doing very well in your business and very well in your life, as fathers and producers and, great coaches as well. But we can feel the energy out there in the world today. It's scary because the suicide rate's the highest it's ever been. The drug use, the job loss is crazy. We can feel the energy. But the one thing we can control right now and for the end of the time is how we feel. And that's through controlling our emotions, our meaning, our physiology, control the way we feel. So probably a great tip, for all of us right now in 2023 and beyond is how can we be able to figure out strategies to be able to feel good? And what we know for sure, we know this now, that psychologists say that feeling good or getting rid over mental illness is 75% movement and sound. How can we be able to move the body more? How can we be able to breathe deeper? How can we be able to bring music and energy and sound into your life to be able to feel good? So probably the number one thing is helping people feel good today, feel good and get excited and be a little optimistic for what's happening.
And do you feel like you have some practices or best practices that have served you or that you've witnessed other people do? I mean, we talk about state management. It's like make your move, yes, make your move. There's for the Tony fans, right? But like I am sure there's some practical best practices that you have kind of been habituated to help with this state management where you could flip the switch for yourself. What might some of those be that are maybe have worked for you, or maybe a drop down menu that others can benefit from?
Sure, 100%. Moving the body. So I've been doing this for maybe close to 2 decades. So every single day I try to move the body. So getting up, very simple, Mike, getting up, putting on your earbuds and going out there, going to YouTube, listen to motivational speeches. I did this today. I walked upstairs today from exercise, but however, just getting out there, taking a walk, moving the body, breath, 3 breaths right now. And letting out the breath, just holding in the breath, letting out. If you do this 3 times, you can actually reset your nervous system and be able to reset the way you feel. So everybody now, we're into cold water therapy, cold baths, cold plunges, cold showers, cold water on the face, anything to be able to really be able to engage your body. So the home is, for all of us out there, our home should be our physiology. Every emotion we have in our life, positive or negative, we have a physiological state attached to it. Being depressed, being angry, being joyful, we have a state. So for most people out there, it always goes back to checking your physiology, and even doing the crazy and stupid as may be, doing like the Wonder Woman or the Superman stance like a superhero, pretending there's a cape coming from your back, can be able to change the way you feel in under 3 minutes. So physiology is going to be your home, and then also as we go through the day, always being able to check your psychology. With the one question people ask me all the time, and I love this question: how in the world, Scott, do I stop the pattern of negative thinking? Power questions. So I'm sure you have one, Mike, probably you have one, Andrew, and a power question could be something that we could easily pick up and easily use. And what a power question does, it redirects our focus. What we focus on, we create a meaning for. What meaning is creates how we feel. So if we control our focus, which is the one thing we control today, by controlling our focus, we're able to change the way we feel. And the best way to do that is having a power question. For example, Mike, you're having a bad day. You guys, tell me, have you guys had a bad day before? Have we all had bad days? Bad moments?
There's been bad moments.
Bad moments, right? Not a bad day. You're not going that far. I love that. But when we've had bad moments, the best thing to do is be able to figure out how can we be able to reframe, rethink, and change your perspective. Number 1, get in the right physiological state. Number 2, ask yourself a better question. What can I learn from this? How can I be able to be grateful for this? How can I make sure it never happens again? And what you're simply doing, you're changing your focus to focus more on the solution than focus on the problem. And this is something you can teach a 5-year-old, an 85-year-old. You can teach a man this. We can teach anybody this, how to be able to control their focus and be able to feel better. So I guess the main two things to answer your question is, asking yourself the right question, moving the body, listening to music, and figuring out how to be able to feel and master your emotions, which would be the first step for anything out there.
And I'm smiling over here because you might, for those who watching the video on YouTube, I just went ahead and grabbed, this is my power poster from Date with Destiny. And one thing that's right here is my primary question: how can I be guided by love, joy, and humor even more in this moment? So that's the power question with my power virtues, my 1-year goal. Here, what's kind of cool is I went to Date with Destiny 2018, and it says top 4 1-year goals: become a father, 200 pounds strong, passive income to cover household expenses, and continue spirituality practice. So I can't say I checked all those boxes yet, but it's a progress consistently, relationship vision. So I 100% align with everything that you're talking about, because that state management, the triad, the focus, the words, the physiology is just so powerful. So I'm so glad that you riffed on that, Scott.
And that the quality of that question is really great, right? Even more, right? Which assumes that you're already in a joyous and playful state, right? So that's a really really nuanced question there, and some serious NLP action that I'm sure you guys
100%.
can
So
really develop that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Here's a distinction. Distinction is this: Mike, you put in the work. So what happens for most people want a better life, but however, most people don't do the work. You put in the work. That's why you're successful.
I appreciate that. And I think a lot of people that listen to the show and those that are going to listen to this are willing to put in the work too. And it's like sometimes we were willing to put in the work, but sometimes we don't know how, or we need a little bit of that kick in the ass, we need a little bit of inspiration. Hence why, we love this show. We love these conversations. So is there anything else that you can say, Scott, that as far as practical, something practical, tactical, something that you could share of value that our listeners can take from this conversation, that you say, all right, hey, this is another thing. This is what I bring to our my coaching clients. So when you do your coaching or when you do your speaking or whatnot, maybe something else that you could bring to this the space, that'd be awesome.
100%, yeah, for sure. So what I do when I coach and speak, so what people say I'm somewhat of a motivational speaker, which I don't believe that's true. We're more of a coach or a strategist. So really what I'm really good at is being able to figure out what is someone's outcome, help people get clear on what they want and figure out what's the gap. If they're right here, if they're right here and they want to go here, right, they have a gap. And as we know, most of us out there, that stops most people. It's not a resource problem, especially if you're in the United States of America today. It is going to be what we call a mindset problem. So what I really love to do is be able to help people get clarity on what patterns and behaviors and that actually hold them back or stop them. And what happens is when we're clear on what we have actually may be stopping us, it's easier to be able to break through it because we take the energy and the fear away from it. Because most people have no idea what stops them, or they push it away. By bringing things close, we're able to break it through it and be able to make a change. And what I found, what I love to do with my clients when I work with clients one-on-one, is we work out and create all the wins as possible. So the best way to really be able to start shifting a belief or changing a belief system is to be able to actually have actions and also references or experiences that support a new belief. So for example, if somebody has a belief system that, it's hard to make money in the real estate business, right? Real estate, their inventory is low, nobody's making money, rates are high, right? So what you want to do, if you have that belief about the limitations in the real estate market today, the goal would be to be able to find as much evidence that supports that it is a good market, that people are still making money, there's still opportunities out there, but however, the reason why people don't get it is because they have the belief that it won't happen. So by shifting their experiences, giving them a new belief system from there, I'm really good at being able to help people strategize a plan to make it happen and make it happen fast. And the great thing about the world today is most people can change things really fast by shifting their belief system, because we're in a world, we have resources everywhere. We can Google everything. We know what to do. But the problem for most people is actually doing it over and over and over again.
It's awesome, man. I mean, you have so
Yeah.
much insight, and listeners, like, go back and study that, because this, everything that Scott's saying around mindset, around really understanding yourself, around your identity and your beliefs, and how those things affect your behaviors, and then how that creates this self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
It's so important to understanding what you're actually doing on a daily basis. We love to ask our guests different questions in our episodes. And in particular, we have three questions that we always ask. And the first one is, what do you think the world needs most right now, Scott?
Good question. Understanding, kindness, patience, brevity, empathy, right? Compassion. Um, I think in the United States of America, I think the world is different, and the culture is different everywhere in the world. So therefore, people have different beliefs and different values they hold true. I believe in the United States of America. I think most people in the United States of America today, we could probably be a little more humble, maybe a little more kind, a little more understanding, even a little more gritty, be able to roll up our sleeves a little bit. I think most people are actually struggling in the United States of America today because most people are used to an easy environment, and we're in a very challenging environment of the world today with a very challenging economy and a lot going on, a lot of outside noise. So people in the US could essentially toughen up a little bit maybe and put the big boy pants on or the big girl pants on and say, we got to hit your goal in business. This is a year we got to take more action. To be able to get what we want this year, this is a year we got to be able to team up with more people, do more partnerships, do more joint ventures. We got to go above and beyond. We got to give more value. We got to be able to go out there and be able to give a raving fan experience. So if you're in business and sales, you got to go out there and give it more to get a better result. So for the U.S., I guess a little more kindness could probably be good for the whole world. However, for the U.S., I think most people in the U.S. need to put their big boy pants on and big girl pants on and get tough again, pretty much.
Yeah, there's that saying, right? Like tough times create tough people, and then tough people create easy times, and easy times create easy people, and then easy people create tough times, or something like that, right?
Weak people. I think we have a weak.
Maybe
we've had good times in the U.S. We had good times in the U.S. for a while now. Even during COVID, people were making good money in business, and then now we're at tough times with weak people. Yeah.
Well, Scott, our second question or next question that we like to ask every single guest on the podcast is, what are 1 to 3 books that you think people should read?
That's a good question. I'm really old school. I'm not gonna be flashy on this. I'm pretty much old school. I mean, for me personally, one of the greatest books for me personally for a spiritual side is a book called Untethered Soul. That's a great book for me. Helped me get over a lot of relationship triggers and stuff in my life that really impacted me. And it's really about being able to be present to the moment experience and not be able to bring triggers or past experience into the present experience that can actually be able to affect your life. Very powerful for me. Another really old school book was by one of my greatest mentors of my life, this gentleman by the name of Wayne Dyer, who passed away, spiritual teacher. The book was called Power of Intention. That spoke to me at a really deep level many, many years ago. And then also probably one of the first books I ever read. I got to keep it Tony Robbins, right? Awaken the Giant Within. That was probably one of the most powerful books I read to really be able to get on the path of understanding me at a deeper level and understanding human beings at a deeper level. So classic ones. I don't have any like new cool ones or wow everybody, but sometimes today is about getting back to the basics too. The basics still work. Having a clear vision, having a belief, taking action. Doesn't work, change your approach, do something different, model others, get in the right environment, get a coach, get a mentor, right? These are all classic principles that have been around for decades and still work today too.
So the next question, Scott, is, what does it mean to you to be better than rich?
So when I first heard Better Than Rich, I immediately went to contribution. So Better Than Rich to me would be not only be able to be financially successful, but also have a rich relationship, be a rich father, be a great father, be a great husband, also to be able to have abundant health, and also have the ability to be able to have the finances to do things you want to do, but also be able to give back and also be able to share your wealth with other people.
That's what I love about you, brother. I love that we are friends. I love having you in our community. I love getting a chance to hang out when we get a chance to hang out. What are you working on now? What these days? Like, what is a goal that you're working towards right now? What's next for you at this moment?
Great question. So we're wrapping up our Tony Robbins run here. So I'm getting ready to head off to Dallas for 2 months. We're going to do 2 months. I'm going to have the whole city of Dallas by myself, Mike, which would be pretty amazing. And we're going to be able to do as much as possible, break some records, and have some fun, and enroll as many people in Tony Robbins November Dallas as possible, change some lives, and then coming back here to Tampa. So I have some opportunities in the event business, the speaking space. I plan on doing some more keynotes, definitely getting more active with keynotes and also corporate training, and then also build up my coaching business a little bit. So probably 2024 for me will be coaching more, creating a little mastermind, speaking as well for Scott Goss. And then also we do some real estate stuff. I'm actually getting in real estate too for a little bit of side hustle, because I see opportunity in real estate right now, because most people in real estate are so scared. They're not doing anything. So I see an opportunity to go in there and grab some market share for myself and build a team and inspire people that way too.
I love that. And I love that you're willing to pivot wherever you need to go, wherever you see a demand in the marketplace, and use your gifts that you have to continue to add value and fill in any voids that the marketplace has. So, and if somebody wanted to stay in touch with you.
It's still in my lane, still in coaching, speaking, inspiring. It's still in the lane, but it's just a different market, which I know pretty well, real estate.
Of course. And if someone wanted to support you on the journey, or hang out with you, or book you, or whatever it is, where would you want them to stay in touch with you? Where could they follow up, see what you're up to, follow the path? What would be the best way for someone to stay in touch with you?
Sure. Scott Goss, social media, Instagram, Facebook. My website is actually getting updated right now. So we're changing the URL, changing it all up. So that will be probably out in about 2 weeks. I need an updated website, so that's not around right now. So probably right now, you can be able to reach out to me via email, phone number. I'm sure those will be in the link, or even social media would be great as well. Quick way to do it.
Sure. And we'll drop that link in the show notes. And quite frankly, Scott, by the time this is released, maybe it'll be ready, right? If you can hit your deadline.
Then the URL from a new website right down there.
There you go. Scott, I know we didn't spend too much time on, the work that we do for you with the virtual assistant team, and your experience in engaging as a member of our community. But just selfishly, I got to ask, man, if someone were evaluating, considering becoming a member of our community, jumping on a game plan call or optimization call with us, and exploring our services, what would you say to them? Being a client now for 6-9 months or so, however long it's been, what would you say to them?
100%. It's a no brainer for sure. No brainer, because you guys bring so much value for what you guys deliver on the coaching side, the mentor side, the being able to really bring like high level time management strategies and systems to really help people a lot. So if you're any sort of, entrepreneur, solopreneur, even running a big team, doesn't really matter. I mean, you guys can serve them at a high level, help make their job more efficiently, help them get their goals, help them be able to outsource a lot of stuff they don't want to do. That's where you guys help me a lot. My VAs do a lot of stuff that I'm not going to do, the data entry, the follow-up stuff that I don't have time to do. So you guys do awesome work. I mean, everybody should definitely work with you at some level, the coaching side, or use the VA side or the mentorship side somehow.
Well, I appreciate that. And I have to ask, when you say the admin stuff, you had the stuff you don't want to do, what are some of those things that you have in your team of virtual assistants do for you when you say data entry?
Data entry. I actually have, I'm going into Texas. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to get off the phone and shoot this to my VA right now, is I'm going into Texas here in 2 weeks. And what I'm going to have my VA do, I'm going out, I'm marketing every single chamber, every single real estate association, and Dallas, Plano, Richardson, Frisco, Irving, all the surrounding cities. So I'm going to have her actually be able to do the research, get the contact information, and then shoot everybody an email, and then also follow up with a call.
I love that.
So
And
will be trainings.
That's a great reason to have a team of virtual assistants doing all like the copy paste work, reach out, research, so that way you can focus on your genius, which is let me get on the calls to book up and or actually deliver the messages. So really appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the community. Thanks for adding value to our community. And listener, you've been a follower of the show. Andrew and I like to ask these compelling questions. So thanks for tuning in. Andrew, thank you. Scott, thank you. Listener, thank you. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate that. Hit us up in the comments with anything that you liked about today's episode. If you're over on Apple or Spotify, you can feel free to make your way over to YouTube, get the video version of this. But as always, most importantly, remember, leave today better than you found it. Till next time, we'll see you then.